Direct from Foxbourough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxbourough Cable Access, it's Foxbourough Central. And here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another fantastic episode of Foxbourough Central. I am Bob Hickey, your host, thanking you for taking a little bit of time to join me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxbourough truly the gem of Norfolk County. And I think one of the things that we can all agree upon here in Foxbourough is that we pay homage to and respect the work that our troops do and their sacrifices they make for us, particularly every Memorial Day as we gather in the Common for the parade ceremony and the marching band, Steve Massey, and the beautiful ceremony they do, the speeches. But what really does that mean? What goes on behind, and what happens the other 364 days of the year? That's why we are here tonight to talk with my guests. Surrounding me are a bevy of wonderful people. Chris Mitchell, will start with you. Chris, who is a member of our Board of Selectmen, but more importantly, is our leader with Home for Our Troops. Homes for Our Troops is a national organization, and the mission is to do what?
We are a national nonprofit 501c3. Our mission is to build brand new mortgage-free homes for severely injured veterans anywhere they choose to live in the country. So
to this end, it is a true service to the veterans who return back. Now, are there any prerequisites? Is there a...
Yep, they're severely injured, so most of our veterans are double or triple amputees. They have to be qualified for the specially adapted housing grant by the VA. That qualifies them for our program, and then there's an application process, and we do background checks and stuff.
And what is your title exactly?
I am currently the Deputy Director of Corporate Partnership and Community Engagement.
Now, is that nationwide for New England District?
Nationwide.
Nationwide.
Yeah, we're headquartered right here in Massachusetts. It was founded 11 years ago. It was a local contractor that was listening to the news and heard about these guys coming back, guys and gals coming back all injured, and he wanted to help, and he went to find an organization to volunteer at. There wasn't any, so we started.
Wow.
So since that time, we are coming up on, we've built over 195 homes throughout the country.
Wow.
Hopefully by the end of this Christmas season, we will have our 200th home delivered.
Well, that's fantastic. And of course, I'm here with Chris Mitchell, who's a friend of mine, and I've wanted for a very long time to get you on the air here so we could talk about this, because I'm fascinated to learn about Homes for Our Troops and the mission. So as we do that, let's go around the table. I'm also going to say hi to Julie Sharkey. Julie, thank you for taking the time to join us. And you are a Foxbourougite. You live here, and you're also on the team. How does this come to be?
I started at Homes for Our Troops part-time about 2.5 years ago, and came on full-time a year and a half ago.
Okay, so as a full-timer, you've seen some maybe growth, but what does the mission that really mean?
The mission is great from my standpoint. I work in the donor relations department, and to see all these people that are giving back to these veterans that are, some of them are doing this because they want to. Some of them are, they're all doing it because they want to, but they've all got their various different reasons behind it, and just the stories that people say why they're giving, their donations, whether they had a family member that was a veteran, or a family member maybe, or a friend that they lost that had, fought in Afghanistan or Iraq. So all the different stories that you hear, and is really pretty cool to listen to.
And we're going to talk more about the real need, which is financial support, in a little bit. But you're the gift processor, so you actually do get to touch these stories and read the letters, and it is an opportunity for you to really connect with the people who are donating.
Right, right. And it's neat when you hear all the different stories that people tell you about why they're doing it. And I had a woman that I had spoken to last week who is an elderly woman. She lives in Louisiana, and her husband recently passed away. She was looking out her window one day, and she saw someone outside, and she wanted to go out and help the guy, but she was nervous. She's in her mid-80s, and she's like, I don't know who this person is. He could be a homeless person. I don't know what he could do to me. She was a little bit nervous and skeptical, and she said, you know, I can't help him, but I know that I can go and help this organization. And, you know, called me up the next day and was like, I need to, you know, give you a donation.
Good.
And she was a donor already anyways, but she just called up and made an extra donation than she normally does.
Great. And we'll have contact information in a few minutes for folks who may want to donate here to the very worthy cause. And we will talk now to Catherine McDonald, who is
Thanks for having me.
my honored guest, and thank you very much for coming out. And you are also a member of the team. We have the Foxbourough contingent here, so Foxborough is well represented. The offices are in Taunton, and you are, and I'm going to read my notes here, the special events.
I'm the marketing assistant, and I do special events and programs.
Which is why I don't read my own notes and I
Yes,
talk
that's
to
fine.
you, actually. So anyway, with this role, what do you do?
So I've only been with Homes for Our Troops since May,
Okay.
and a lot of what I'm doing is outreach. So getting us to trade shows and conventions and just talking to people and telling them about the work that we do, and, you know, getting them to not necessarily, you know, obviously we hope that they'll give, but really just spread the word. I mean, we don't have a huge marketing budget, and, you know, we're a pretty small team, and we're just trying to get the word out, grassroots, word of mouth. So, you know, a lot of people haven't heard of us and the work that we do, so I'm just out there trying to meet as many people as possible at these events.
Okay, well, I'm one person, and this isn't an event, but say I come up upon you and I say, hi, tell me in one sentence or less what it is that we're doing here.
We're rebuilding lives. I mean, that's what our mission is. I mean, we're giving, this is not one sentence, but we're giving veterans, you know, the foundation to start over and to build families and go on and do great things.
Very good. So rebuilding lives, Chris, is the overriding message here.
That's
And
our tagline is building homes and rebuilding lives.
building homes and rebuilding lives. So I understand that there are some projects that you're working on now, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and give some contact information. Of course, if they want to get a hold of Homes for Our Troops, you can log on to the internet at www.homehfotusa.org.
Yep, very good.
I did that.
Not bad.
All right. Home for Our Troops, HFOT. It's very easy to remember.
HFOT.
HFOT. HFOTUSA .org.
.org.
But then if we want to get in touch with you personally to find out more information, and I know you're always around town and you're always on, people can friend you on Facebook, but if they want to send an email and maybe learn more about specific ways to donate or to help, they can contact you at
cmitchell@hfotusa.org.
cmitchell@hfotusa.org. Fantastic. So those are the two ways to get a hold of you. And of course, let's talk about gifts. And one of the reasons why we're here is to raise awareness, right? All right. And part of that awareness is the need for financial donations. And you can also reach them at their Taunton offices by calling area code 508-823-3300. And they actually have a donations hotline, and that would be 508-823-3300, extension 502. So for those of you who are in a giving mood, we're not going to do a telethon. We're just going to give you the information straight up, and go to extension 502 and you can make that donation. So now that we've talked about the nuts and bolts, yes.
One thing about the donations, on average over the last 10 or 11 years, over 90 cents on the dollar goes towards the product, the program.
That's a very important message, and I wanted to ask about that, is how does the funding apply? And I know that part of the mission is to create community involvement and going to these communities, because you're building these all across the country.
Yep.
It seems like such a staggering operation, but when you think about it, everything is local. Politics are local, and all relationships are local. So let's talk about, let's use an example. What is your newest project, or what's the house you're building right now?
We're, we bring 9 or 10 veterans in each quarter into our program, so there's always a new project. But local project, we're building for Army Sergeant Christopher Gomes down in Freetown, Mass, right outside of New Bedford.
Okay.
So basically what we do when that happens, the veteran picks where they want to live. We have land search teams in our office that will search for the land that'll fit our home, It's a 2,800 square foot ranch, slab on grade, so it's got to be a good sized lot to fit it. It has to meet certain handicap requirement codes by the VA.
Right, because these are disabled veterans that you're building these homes for, and they need to be usable.
Yep. So we'll identify 3 or 4 properties. Our land team will turn it back to the veteran, and they'll go and physically pick which lot they want. They might not like any of them, and we'll start all over again. Once they settle on the lot, we have a community outreach team that basically does a recon on the whole area. Who are the go-to people in that town? So if it was Foxbourough, we'd find Bob Hickey first. He's the go-to guy in that town, and he'd get us with all the volunteers and the people that'll spread our word. Like Catherine said, we don't spend money on advertising. We never will. We're a grassroots organization, and we pride ourselves on the 90 cents on the dollar. So all the money's going towards these veterans. So any word of mouth advertising or, you know, being on shows like this is great for our organization.
That's super. And so the people that you're helping, I'm assuming you've also met. So Sergeant Gomes, what is his story?
He's a unique guy. He's given back to other veterans. He's a veteran services officer in the city of New Bedford, similar to what Mike Johns does for Foxbourough. I've met him a few times. There's always events around these builds, fundraising events or other promotional events. So I've been at a few of them with Chris and his wife. He was actually just at Harvard Stadium yesterday. There was a fundraiser, a stair climb, and all the proceeds were going towards his build.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, he's a pretty tough guy. One of those guys, just like most of our veterans, they don't think they're injured enough. And if you see him, he's missing one leg. The other one's pretty banged up. And all of our veterans say the same thing. Well, I'm not really that banged up. One of the jokes is there's different terms of amputations, you know, below the knee, above the knee.
Okay.
So they joke in their world, if it's a below the knee amputation, they call it a paper cut.
Well, that's quite a paper cut and in service to our country. So thanks to Sergeant Gomes.
All of them will tell you they'd go back and do it again if they could.
Well, their service is appreciated, and your service is appreciated also. So in this role of generating money, and we'll talk about the fundraiser that happened yesterday, it seems like a lot of work, and you do this year-round.
Yes. Well, we are lucky enough that we have people in the community who will fundraise for us. So we have a fundraising team, and they work with those people in the community to put together those fundraisers.
Okay.
So, you know, we have people who do golf tournaments for us, and you know, what are some other examples?
A lot of races. It's a totally
Races.
Independent third-party fundraising program we have.
Really?
It's amazing. We, as an organization, we probably have 3 or 4 events that we staff and man and run fundraising-wise. The rest of our fundraising is third-party, like Catherine was saying. This guy that did the Harvard stair climb there, the stadium thing, he just coordinated all through our office. We gave him our logo, brochures, and you know, we supported it. We went there just to say thank you.
That's great.
That program brings in, believe it or not, millions of dollars.
So, and as you point out, 90% goes directly towards the services being provided. So, and the services are building homes. So, as the gift processor, let's talk about, you know, the magnitude. So, with the money that comes through and then gets turned around and put out, is this all cash on the dollar, or are there other donations people can donate in kind, services? Does that happen?
For the most part, it's all cash, and then we do have a lot of people that get matching gifts from their employers. And on our website, you can actually check to see, we have a listing that you can check to see if your employer does do matching gifts. And some of them will double, some of them will even triple their donations.
And that's a great message.
So it's always a great thing to see.
So if you log on to www.hfotusa.org, click on the donation, there's a link to show if your employer is a participant. And it's a nonprofit organization, the official
501c3.
501c3, very good. So for folks at home who work and are looking to create a matching donation, this would be a great organization, very worthwhile cause. And with that, Chris, I want to ask you, What is the special project that we're working on now? Say I don't have $10 million to donate. What if I only have
We'll take
a few
$10.
bucks?
We'll take $10.
How would I donate $10?
We have a program, Bob. Good thing you asked.
It's amazing.
It's called Operation Lasting Support. It's a monthly giving program.
Okay.
Minimum donation $10 a month. And right now we've always had something like that, but we've never really promoted it. And about a year or so ago, we started, kind of rebranded it a little bit, gave it a nicer look, and we all started promoting it at all of our events. And right now we are up to funding a home a year, just about.
Really?
The national average cost of our home is $430,000, so we're pretty
Really?
close to funding a home.
If
Those are
we
pretty expensive
actually-
homes.
We only need, if we get 93 more people to donate just $10 a month for a year.
92 more people.
92 could, yes. 'cause Bob's gonna be
I'm
so-
in.
92 more people, then we could fund a home a year with those people.
Really? So that means that your donations, which are fairly painless, $10 is really just 3 cups of coffee at the Donkeys a month, which we can all probably stand to give up. I know that I can. So with that, it goes to a very worthwhile cause, and it's a direct send out. So the fruits of the donation are immediately seen, and it's fairly painless, $10 a month. For folks who may want to participate and you can't email to get the information, we will have these at our studios at 28 Central Street here at the beautiful Foxbourough Cable Access Studio. So come on in and you can pick up your own $10 or more. Don't limit yourself to 10, please, not just because I say 10. And then you can become a sponsoring member also of the team. So to that end, we're also going to leave some flyers here at the studio just to detail the organization and information. So that's a great way too for folks to get the word out. I know you can't be everywhere and do everything, so hopefully we'll try to do our part here at Foxbourough Cable Access. With your mission then, what does a typical week entail?
Oh gosh, there is no typical week.
Sounds like a fun job.
It is fun. I'm going to DC at the end of the week, and actually Chris is coming along with me. We're going to the AUSA convention down in DC.
AUSA?
The Association of the United States Army.
Okay.
And get the word out there. And let's see, last week I was in Alabama, running an event along with Caitlin Donovan, one of our community outreach coordinators, just to spread the word down in Birmingham. The week before, I was in Nashville, reaching out to veterans down there. In August, I was in Denver, reaching out to members of the DAV to let them know that this service is available to disabled veterans.
Okay.
So there is no typical week.
So it sounds like they're keeping you busy.
Yes.
And you like this?
I love it.
And it's a good cause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did you go to school for?
I went to school for history.
Really?
Yeah, but it taught me to read and write and think critically, so I wouldn't change a thing.
Excellent. And how did you get involved?
I worked at a different nonprofit before this, and then I was taking care of my 3 boys and looking for something else at the time. They were all in the Foxbourough school system.
Okay.
They are also all involved in volunteering for Homes for Our Troops.
Really?
My oldest is a big advocate for Chris, so if whenever he needs something done for Homes for Our Troops locally, he calls and asks for Matt.
So excuse me everybody, this is just an aside. So he's been told about the voluntold thing?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, all right.
He, but he's also has friends that have done it as well. We had a build down in Rhode Island a couple of years ago, and I wasn't able to attend due to one of my kids' sporting events. But the next day, I was at something else, thinking of a high school game, and I had on a Homes for Our t-shirt, Homes for Our Troops t-shirt. And someone came up to me and said, "Hey, I have that one of those shirts." And I said, "You do?" And he said, "Yeah, I just was in Rhode Island, did a volunteer thing." He was down there for student council hours. And my oldest son was up at one of our builds this time last year in New Hampshire with a couple of his friends and getting in their hours. And they're very big military kids. They have known what they've wanted to do, in the future. So they really enjoy partaking in everything.
Well, good for your family. That's great.
But they get all their friends involved, and they like hearing about it and everything. And because these kids can't afford to do something like that, they're all young, so they're like, well, what can we do instead? And I said, well, I'll give you a shovel and you can help out. And
volunteering at an early age,
Yeah.
usually
Right.
sow the seeds now and they'll become leaders tomorrow.
Exactly,
So, good for
exactly.
you. Good,
So
very
they
good.
do that, and then I tell them to, mention it to mom and dad, and maybe they can write a check.
Well, and also, speaking of donating, your son is graduate of West Point, and he is serving.
He's a first lieutenant in the U.S. Army. He's stationed in, still stateside, thank God, Joint Base Lewis McChord in Tacoma, Washington.
Okay. Well, big shout out to him, of course. And so with you and Paula and all that you do here in town, how do you find the time to do all of this and do all your community stuff?
This is, I go to work every morning and it doesn't feel like I'm going to work. The mission that we have is amazing. It gets hectic at times, and it's busy. Like Catherine was talking about her travel schedule. Mine's somewhat like that, but not. I get to now pick and kind of choose where I go. There's certain trade shows and stuff. There's a builder show that we go to every year, and I go around, and I this year I've got to play a lot of golf tournaments on our behalf and speak for our organization. So like I refer to as taking one for the team. But it's good going around the country talking to people and telling them what we do and how we do it, and just getting support. It's fun.
Good, good. So again, I'm joined by three wonderful people who work for Homes for Our Troops, and they can be contacted at hfotusa.org. If you go to that site, there's a donate button, and you can click on the donate button, and employers will come up as far as matching donations, where to send checks, how to donate. All that information will be there. You can also call them at 508, I'm going to cheat now, 508-823-3300, and you can ask for any of them. Of course, the donation hotline is extension 502. You can always reach out to Chris Mitchell at cmitchell at FTO. HFOT. I thought I was going to get that one out. HFOTUSA.org. So as we're talking about the need, let's talk about the real need. And we still have a serious situation where a couple of wars have wrapped up. We have a lot of troops coming home, and we all tend to maybe not focus on the real outcomes that affect many of the troops with post-traumatic syndrome and with the physical injuries that come. But you see this every day, and you see that there's a need. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's definitely a backlog. There's about a dozen organizations like ours that build these homes for these veterans. I think we build the smartest type of home. It's Energy Star rated. It's, like I said, a 2,800 square foot ranch. It's affordable, maintenance free, vinyl siding and stuff like that. We've built almost 200, and we're the largest organization. So there's an estimate, the VA estimates about 1,800 to 1,900 veterans still today would qualify for one of these homes. So there's still a lot of work to do.
How come the government just doesn't do it?
The government.
There you go.
They don't. And luckily, the United States citizens are stepping forward and paying their debt to these soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marine that have, risked their lives for us.
So it's not a situation of we're competing with the government. You're actually working in conjunction with the government. They pre-qualify folks for you?
Yep, they do. They have to qualify for a specially adapted housing grant in order to qualify for our program, and that basically deems them severely injured. That's the classification. The VA has to come out and inspect our homes just to make sure that they're fine for these veterans. So we have to deal with them a little bit. We have a good working relationship on that end. Now, I think early on it might have been a struggle, but
You've only been around for 11 years, so I think it's important everybody realizes that this is a pretty growth track of an organization as far as only being here for 11 years, and you're already nearing your 200th completed house. It's not a small accomplishment by any means.
No, this year we're budgeting for, I believe, 47 homes.
47 homes.
47 homes.
That's amazing.
Yep,
That's a great accomplishment.
Yeah, we're in 30 completed homes in 38 states. I think we're almost in another couple of states. So it's pretty ambitious, but we've got the support. We have the funding. We could always use more funding. More funding means we build more homes.
So we're going to talk about the funding then real quickly, Paula. So the funding mechanism, this $10 a month, which is fairly painless, I would think. How does that work as far as coming to you? Do we just give you a check every month for $10, or
you can
is
do
it
it multiple
automatic
ways.
debit? Or
you can do it a few different ways. If you do it online, you can use your debit card or your credit card. You can also go through PayPal through our website. You can send us a check every month. Also, you could call, if you call and speak to me directly, and I can take your credit card information. There's a donation form online that you can get, and you can print that out and fill in your credit card information or your debit card information if you want to do that, and just mail it in to us.
For those of us who do not trust the internet.
Right.
There you go. All right. We are here for all people. So, so the need is great. And the giving is relatively painless.
We make it as painless as possible.
Excellent, excellent.
Right.
So let's talk about the message. The message going forward that we should be shouting from the mountaintop is?
That we're here and we're building homes and we're rebuilding lives, and please tell people about us.
Okay. I'm going to talk to Chris with the final word. I'm going to give you the final word, as I always do. And before we do that, I'm going to remind everybody that the Homes for Our Troops is a nonprofit 503c organization. Your employer probably has a matching donation program that they could participate in. But most of all, the important message here is awareness and knowing that there is a way to help out disabled veterans who are in need of housing. They get certified. This is not a loose organization by any chance. Over 90% of your funding goes directly to the cause, and part of that is donations from the builders, but of course houses aren't cheap, nor are they free, nor is land. So there is a significant cash need. Next time you see an HFOT fundraiser, I'm sure you'll jump in. We'll try to publicize it here at Foxbourough Cable Access. You can also become a friend of theirs on Facebook, and I don't know what hashtagging means, but you can also hashtag them at what? Publicity person?
Well, you can do HFOT, or you can actually just find us on Twitter and tweet at us, which is...
As well as Instagram, too.
And, are we
Instagram?
We are on Instagram.
We are on Instagram.
Okay, you heard it here first. I have no idea what that means, but that's okay. If I wanted to Instagram you, how would I do that?
You can just look up, type in Homes for Our Troops.
Home for Our Troops and find you. And then, of course, you can become a friend on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very good.
Facebook
150,000 followers on Facebook.
Excellent. So we should all become friends on Facebook.
Yep, keep you up to date.
Okay. So Catherine and Paula, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you for sharing your message and for the work that you do. And Chris, I'm going to give you the last word.
Okay. Like I said earlier, our tagline is building homes and rebuilding lives. And what these homes do, they're mortgage free to the veteran. It allows them to get on. It sets the condition for them to succeed in life. Some of them will go on to college. Some go on to do athletic events. We've got 3 Olympians on our roster of veterans. That 2 of them won gold medals in the. Actually, 3 of them won medals in the Sochi Games, the Paralympic Games, a couple of years ago. It'll allow them to be a stay-at-home dad, maybe, and mom will go off to college and finish her degree. But it'll just set the conditions for them to succeed in life.
And these are folks who have given their all for their country, and it's something that we owe back to them.
Yep. And one last thing.
Yes, sir.
The home that we're building in Freetown next year, we're going to start that in the spring. We have 3 signature events around one of our builds. One will be the groundbreaking or the kickoff ceremony.
Okay.
Public is welcome, and I'll make sure everybody here knows. Then the volunteer landscape day, when everybody can come out and get dirty and
pitch in.
Yeah, put some elbow grease into the outside of the home And then the final ceremony is kind of like our Super Bowl. It's the key ceremony, and that's when we turn the keys over to this veteran, and everybody will be able to get to tour the home and see where their funds go. So it's really special.
Fantastic. And as we're all going to become friends of the HFOT, the Homes for Our Troops, on Facebook, we will get that information tweeted right to us or Facebooked right to us, or however it comes by the magical internet. I am so out of time. This has been a great message. I want to thank everybody for joining me. Of course, hfotusa.org is where you can get additional information. On behalf of all the volunteers here at Foxbourough Cable Access, I want to thank Chris Mitchell for taking the time to bring his cast and crew out to share the message. Very important message, and one I hope you enjoyed hearing. I would like to thank my editor, Jillian Larson, for putting this all together. She does such a great job, and I hope you enjoy her work as we bring you this program. Have a great day, Foxbourough. Take care.